Here's a tiny channel called Erasmus, and they posted a text-based 100 questions for atheists, and they're challenging us to answer. Well, since you asked nicely, here we go. But these lists are never very good. They aren't asking worthwhile questions, and no matter what we say in response, we're just going to get ignored, let's be honest. That being the case, though, let's give it a shot, because I don't want them saying, well, you couldn't do it, because we always can. And hey, in this case, I guess I could be wrong. I'm probably not, but wouldn't that be nice? So, today we are going to look at the first part of this 100 questions for atheists. I know I said I wasn't going to do any more long-form video series for a while, but okay, I lied. But this is really the last one. I mean it this time. I'm serious. I'm going to go through this list 25 questions at a time, because otherwise this is going to be absurdly long. So I hope that's okay with everyone. Anyone think this is going to be a good list? Or is it going to be every bit as ridiculous and laughable as every other list of questions for atheists that we've ever seen? Place your bets, and let's get going. Because there is no evidence for the existence of God, or anything supernatural, or anything like that. I could ask you a question. Why don't you believe in leprechauns? It really is that simple. There is no more reason to believe in gods than there is to believe in Bigfoot. In fact, there's probably less reason to believe in gods than there is to believe in Bigfoot. God doesn't go wandering around the woods leaving footprints. When you can come up with proof that your God actually exists, we can revisit the question. Until then, forget it. What is your evidence that leprechauns don't exist? Because here's the thing. I don't have to prove you wrong. You have to prove yourself right. When do you think you're going to get around to that? Never? Yeah, that's what I thought. See, this is why just about every exchange between the religious and the non-religious goes south. The religious are desperate to shift the burden of proof to the non-religious because they know that they can't do anything on their own. But here's the reality. If you're the one making the claim, and you are because you're the one saying that your God is real, then it rests entirely on your shoulders to prove it. It isn't my job to prove you wrong. So, get to work. I don't. Any more than I hate Voldemort. God is an imaginary character in a book of mythology. That's what every shred of evidence that we have points to. Why do you think I would hate that? Why would I even care? This is just another example of a theist showing they just don't give a damn about reality. This is all just made up crap. Knock it off. It depends on what you mean. Do I believe that the Jesus as described in the Bible existed? No, there's no evidence for that. So far as we can tell, the miracle-doing Son of God that rose from the dead and all that crap, that's not real. Now, if you can present independent, verifiable evidence that any of that actually happened, that's fine. We can look at that question again. But until then, no. Now, could there have been a person that actually existed and taught in Palestine and upon whom was draped the mantle of godhood after he was dead? Sure, why not? I guess. But that hasn't been proven either. But let's be honest, that's not what Christians believe, so that kind of a claim doesn't do them any good whatsoever. Again, I'm not the one making the claims. You are. I'm just saying that there's no evidence for your claims. Where is your proof against leprechauns? Let us know when you come up with some. Why are you asking the same damn questions over and over and over? You're getting real close to the line where you stop looking like you're serious and you start looking like a troll. Absolutely. There was a time that I could almost quote the entire Bible cover to cover. Every study out there shows that the non-religious in general know more about religion than the religious tend to. We know your book is nonsense. We've studied it. We've read it. Why haven't you figured it out? There is no evidence for the existence of souls, so no. Why would I? Why would you? Just because you have an immature emotional attachment to the idea, that doesn't make it true. You're really going to have to do better than that. For what? You seem to have a very serious misunderstanding of how rationality operates. You don't just get to make up ideas and expect them to have automatic credibility. The time to believe that any given proposition is true is when there is objectively verifiable evidence to support it, and not 1 second before. Where is that evidence for souls? Go ahead, get back to us when you come up with some. All of them which I've ever been presented with, and all for the exact same reason. Zero evidence that they actually exist. Now that's not saying that there might not be some god out there somewhere that I've never heard of that could, in theory, be real. Who knows? I haven't encountered that yet. But as I said before, the time to believe is when you have evidence. I have no evidence. Thus, I do not believe. Why do you? I mean, it's your side that spends their time trying to get others involved in your cult. Why won't you leave the rest of us alone? But that's not your question, so I'm going to answer what you asked. I care because someone's beliefs inherently inform their actions. What you believe, religiously or not, impacts how you behave in the real world. It affects how you think. It affects how you vote. It affects how you treat other people, and it affects how you raise your children. What goes on in your head affects everyone around you. The more irrational your beliefs, the more negative the effects tend to be. So, you're damn right, I care if you're a delusional git. Stop it. Same place everyone else does. Same place you do if you would be honest about it. And no, it's not some magic man in the sky. All humans, whether they like it or not, get their moral sense from a combination of empathy and enlightened self-interest. We want to be treated well, so we treat others well in hopes that they will reciprocate. And then the religious take some delusional view that there's some imaginary father figure in the sky, and they completely lose sight of reality. I'll give you the open-ended response. If your God is all-powerful and all-knowing, and that's the common claim, then your God will know what it would take to convince me that he was real. As I am not currently convinced, either your God isn't real, or your God doesn't want me to believe. Take your pick. Because faith doesn't get you anywhere demonstrable. You have faith that your God is real. That guy over there has faith that his God is real. Someone way over there, they have faith that her God is real. Now, how do you tell which of you, if any of you, is actually correct? You can't all be right, but you can't all be wrong. Let us know when you come up with an objectively demonstrable answer to that, won't you? I don't. I attack Christian ideas. There's a difference. Respect has to be earned, and you haven't done it. However, the list of people that Christians have attacked, not ideas, but actual living human beings, is very, very, very long. And the same goes for every other religion out there. Christians have been making non-Christians dead for a very long time. It's funny how the religious don't seem to have a problem with that, isn't it? I don't hate Christians. I hate what Christians believe. I hate the delusion that Christians have stuffed into their heads. I have no problem with the people. It's the dumb things that they believe that are the problem. It's just like racists. I don't hate the racists. I hate their racist beliefs. If they just give up the absurd beliefs, I'd have no problem with them. Same thing goes for Christians. Knock it off. Because they spend a lot of time doing really, really dumb things? Because Christians and other religions, to be fair, spend a lot of time putting other people in danger. There are whole graveyards out there full of dead kids because their Christian parents refuse to take them to seek proper medical treatment. Maybe if you people stopped doing stupid shit, we wouldn't be mad at you. Give it a shot. No, in fact, I'm not. The Bible is filled with all kinds of vague promises that can only be, quote-unquote, fulfilled after the fact, and only by running around with the goalposts and pretending you got a field goal. This is called delusion, and that is defined as an idiosyncratic belief or impression that is firmly maintained despite being contradicted by what is generally accepted as reality or rational argument, typically a symptom of mental disorder. And like it or not, that's you. I don't really give a crap what you believe, so long as you keep it to yourself and you don't allow it to harm others around you. I don't care if you want to bow down at the holy altar of Mickey Mouse. That's up to you. But you damn well better leave that outside the voting booth, and you'd better not harm your kids. You'd better not try to discriminate against anyone else because of your beliefs. So we're right back at that delusion thing. You're acting like there's some grand conspiracy against you. No, we're just telling you to stop being a moron. Act like a decent, rational human being. Try. It's not really that hard. Seriously? Fuck the Muslims. They've got every bit as much criticism as Christians do. So do Hindus and Buddhists and Scientologists and everyone else. If you hold stupid, irrational beliefs, you get it right between the eyes where it belongs. Absolutely no irrational position gets a pass, and that applies to both religion and non-religious beliefs alike. If we had all the answers, we wouldn't need science, would we? We don't have all the answers, and we don't pretend to. That's you people. You're the one telling everyone that you know what's going on. Yet when we ask you for evidence for your claims, you've got nothing. Funny how that works, isn't it? I did change my mind. I was a Christian for decades of my life. Then I got better. And if you could come up with evidence that your claims were true, I'd be happy to change my mind again. The question isn't why we can't change our minds. It's why you can't change yours. We've got all of the evidence on our side. It doesn't prove that there are no gods. That's not something that we even try to do, but it shows pretty damn conclusively that there's no rational reason whatsoever to believe that any gods actually exist. So why do you continue to believe something for which you have no good, demonstrable, objective reason? It's like believing in a flat earth. You'd have to be pretty damn stupid to do that. That's an assertion on your part, isn't it? Prove that what they're doing is telling the truth. Show that what they're claiming has objectively verifiable evidence to support it. Of course, you can't do that, and we all know it. There's a big difference between truth and faith. We care about truth. We care if what we believe, what we allow into our heads, is actually real. You only care about emotional comfort. All you want to do is feel good. That's something that only little kids do. Do us all a favor and grow the hell up. Because those words mean two completely different things. Atheism and theism, those refer to belief. Do you believe in a God or not? Agnosticism and Gnosticism, those refer to knowledge. Do you think that you can know that a God, in this case, is real or not? This is what happens when you don't actually understand the terminology that you're using. Because you're dumb, son. I don't. I reject people's personal interpretations of their experiences. Because if you actually go and talk to people who make personal claims about experiences with gods, you will find very rapidly that they aren't operating rationally. Their religions have poisoned their brains and convinced them that God answers all questions. If you can't explain something, God did it. If you can't find your car keys, Satan hit them. It's just dumb. Because God isn't an automatic catch-all for any question you can't figure out. You actually have to prove that God exists and that God did it. And you can't do that. It's really sad that you can't see that's what's happening, isn't it? So, this is pretty much what I expected. It's a Christian with no clue what the hell's going on, whining about their feelings when they haven't even stopped and stepped back from their faith to consider anything remotely resembling reality. And that's pretty standard stuff, isn't it? They've got this little religious fantasy land going on in their head that has to be right because, fifis. And they can't imagine that anything that they have blind faith in could possibly be wrong. And unfortunately for them, it's all wrong. They don't have the slightest clue what's happening, and they don't care. It's like the kids sitting up on Christmas Eve, waiting for Santa Claus, because, Santa Claus has to be real. Otherwise, how do they get their presents? They really want their presents, so of course there has to be a Santa Claus. There are no other options. And if for some reason, they get no presents, then they're going to make up some ad hoc explanation for why Santa didn't come through. They aren't willing to admit that there is no evidence for Santa. Santa must exist. Just like God must exist, because Christians have a long laundry list of crap that they want, and God answers all of those desires. Except it doesn't. It doesn't answer anything. Reality doesn't work that way, but reality gets in the way of an emotionally comforting story, so, screw reality, right? Anyhow, we'll get back to the next 25 questions soon. I really don't think they're going to be any better, do you? But by all means, place your predictions below, and we'll see who can get closest.
Bum